I found the greatest superhero film of all time, and it's one that you've likely never heard of. Before I get to that one, let me compare it to one of the biggest superhero films ever. I think it's no spoiler to talk about the ending of Avengers Endgame, but you've been warned. The finale is concluded with the death of Iron Man. He gets the Infinity Stones from Thanos, snaps his fingers, deletes the bad guys from existence, saves the universe, and says like a badass,
I am Iron Man.
great ending, right? Well, I'm not so sure. The problem I have with the resolution to the conflict is the notion of self-sacrifice. Now, self-sacrifice in itself is normal and natural. Selflessness is something to strive toward, but self-sacrifice at the cost of your own life is damaging. It's a moral that generally benefits the leaders of military groups at the cost of the soldiers that work for them. By the way, if you'd like to hear more of my thoughts on how Marvel movies support military ideals, please check out my video on that very subject. But yeah, there exists a notion here that our heroes and the figures meant to inspire us share a Viking-like mentality of Valhalla, that dying in combat, dying as a hero, is the ultimate goal one should strive toward, that it is the ultimate act of selflessness, and I don't agree. Now let me show you what the greatest superhero of all time would do when faced with a decision involving sacrifice.
Going somewhere without your old pal, Kevin?
Let her go, and you can have the stupid Omnitrix. We have a deal, or don't we, Bill Gates? My cousin for this stupid watch.
Yes, that's right. The greatest superhero is Ben 10 from the Cartoon Network show. Ben here originally thinks to sacrifice himself to save his family and the world, but he decides to sacrifice the Omnitrix, the source of his superpowers. Rather than dying a hero, he chooses to live a non-super life with his family, because life without being special is more important than no life at all. The greatest superhero movie ever is Ben 10: Secret of the Omnitrix. This film deals with the same conflict, but in a different circumstance and with more depth than the episode I just sampled. Here, Ben is faced with the Omnitrix about to explode. Along with detonating and killing him, it will also take the entire universe out with him. Naturally, the plot surrounds finding a solution to stop it from exploding. To do so, he travels across the galaxy in search of the device's creator, for him to turn off the self-destruct sequence. But Ben is thrust into a moral dilemma. If they can't reach the creator in time, then they will have to try to destroy the Omnitrix. To save the universe, Ben will have to lose his powers. That's why Ben is incentivized here to use his powers to their fullest capabilities to find the creator. But there's another catch. Whenever Ben uses his powers, the timer on the self-destruct sequence is accelerated, making it all the easier to see the impossibility of making it to the creator in time. But Ben doesn't stop there. He chooses to risk everyone and everything in order to find the creator. But we know it's not for the sake of saving the universe, it's for the sake of saving his powers.
Didn't tell me.
Thought you'd be more concerned about how this affected you.
What do you mean? I help people all the time with the Omnitrix.
Do you help because it's the right thing to do? Or for the thrill of being a hero?
You know, that's one of those lines that stuck with me throughout, my whole life, ever since I first heard.
Luckily for Ben, he does eventually find the creator, but the creator is a cold nihilist who doesn't care about the universe's destruction. His mentality is essentially that if he granted people with a device with the power to bring peace and prosperity to all, and they use it to destroy the universe, then both they and him do not deserve to live. A flawed god complex for sure, so he locks Ben out. His cousin Gwen gets taken by monsters, and Ben breaks down.
This is all my fault. I saw that the watch was acting all weird at the reactor, but I used it anyway. Gwen's dead because of me.
He takes responsibility for his selfishness. He then continues to save the day without it. The powers aren't what make him a hero. It's the desire to help people, with or without them. Kuro the artist states the comparison between this kind of sacrifice and the sacrifice made in season 1 of the series.
What about the time he sacrificed himself for you in season 1? I don't know, this is supposed to be the moment that Ben's supposed to have his turnaround in the movie. I guess this is what you get for constantly trying to do the same character arc for Ben over and over again. You just run it into the ground.
But the flaw with that comparison is that Ben forfeits his life in season 1. Sure, Ben says here, it should have been me, when Gwen gets taken. But the narrative doesn't give him that as an out that he is clearly willing to take. Instead, it puts him into a tougher dilemma. He can die a hero like he desires, but it'll be at the cost of his family, rather than have it as the reward. And if he would like to save them, then he will have to live a normal life, a boring life, and to die of natural causes, and to not die as a hero. He chooses the latter, but he rejects the notion that a hero is tied to his powers, to his X factor that makes him better than everyone else. Instead, he accepts being like everyone else and decides to fight like everyone else. To be a hero by trying his best. To be a hero by living as a good person. I hope you all liked the video. I'm a big fan of Ben 10, and I hope more of you give this series and the movie a watch. I would also like to thank people like Crow the Artist and other members of the Ink Tank for keeping the show relevant. You guys are great. If you would like to see more videos like this, then please like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. This has been Sessions on Cinema, and thank you for watching.